Hey all. So back with War 4 of this season against our friends over at 4 Loki. And the theme of this war video, which seems to be the theme of this season so far with me, is definitely going to be some more learning experiences. Not so much on these first two fights. Blade versus two-dimensional beings is fairly simple work. Both of these are vanilla nodes. And for those of you who didn't catch it on the pre-fight screen, this is a rank 5 Sig 200 Blade. This is what he was made for. Pretty literally in the case of Mephisto. But yeah, we are just parrying our way to special twos, landing a few hits in between. There's so little to this. I think I just parry in special one here. No, I do go back for the special two. I don't know, man. Playing it very short and sweet. Okay, no, there's the special two. Yeah. When I said short and sweet, I guess I meant clean. But yeah, Blade versus Mephisto is extremely simple. Blade versus Spot is also extremely simple. There are some nodes where it's a little bit harder, but this is not one of them. Same basic idea. Parry, ride the power game to special 2, close it out. You can play Blade fights with power starts and power backs. I I don't know. If you're punching up in rarities, maybe on particularly hard fights, I have assigned it that way. For something like this, you just don't need to. Also, something I want to call out with Spot, remember he cannot go untouchable from specials. It has to be basics. And so even if I was not at a bar of power already there, I just could have parried a few more times, built power from the bleeds, and then thrown a special. If you ever find yourself in a rough spot with Blade versus Spot, good lord, then just do that. Moving on to Null here with Absorbing Man. The regen on this node can absolutely get out of control, but as long as you're just playing Absorbing Man properly and you push Null to his special 2, that's not going to matter because he's going to max ramp you and you are going to put all of those giant vulnerabilities on him and you're just going to do so much damage that you are not going to care about the regen. I don't know why I finished that last combo. Maybe I thought it would take him over 2 bars and was just wrong, so that's a small mistake there. But like I said, we're just continuing to try and push him to the special 2. Not fully there here, but that's why we block immediately, bait the heavy. You can see that even one crit burst with all of these vulnerabilities is doing an absolute ton of damage. It does not matter if he heals. At this point, I probably, yep, that's exactly what I was about to say. It's been a few days since this. But at that point, that is where you parry heavy, cancel into special 1. Remember that even though you get more crit rating if you cancel into the special 1 with Absorbing Man, you still get some with parry heavy, and it's very often worth it. So this fight here, Mojo with Reed, I hate this fight. I would not assign it to anyone other than myself, and I looked for ways to avoid it, honestly. But the reason that I'm taking it and the reason that my fellow officer assigned it in the first place is that I have done it successfully several times. I even took it once completely unboosted in off season. It's not fun. You're guaranteed some degen as you're seeing here. But inequity is just destroying Mojo's attack value here. Reed himself is doing a ton of damage from all of this ramping. There's not a whole lot going on. You're reducing his or reversing his own regen, reversing willpower, and there we go. Paying 40% of your health for the flexibility and pathing of not sending a buff immune to Mojo is worth it. So moving on to this Wolverine Weapon X. Carl is a really, really good option here, but this is going to be about the worst this fight could go. So the reason Carl is so good for this fight is because in Uru, he's immune to both Weapon X's bleeds and the shock damage from EMP mod. So right here, we're at 13. This is where I start baiting specials because he'll go berserk. Still hit him there. Should have hit him with a light and not with a medium. That's on me because then I could have gotten the pause. But I was really hoping he'd throw this special here. Nope. Nope. Probably should have. I don't know. Maybe I should have baited a heavy here to try and get a pause, but of course now he throws the specials. We take an absolute ton of shock damage. The other thing I should have done on this fight is not throw my special 1 until I was much closer to 2 bars, so that I would have only needed to land a little bit of a combo before getting back into Uru. I probably could have avoided about half of that health loss from both the shocks and the bleeds, and this fight would look a lot less on life support than it does right now. We're still okay because the crit resistance saved us and it was just the bleeds. We were able to salvage it before it got worse. But like I said, this is about as badly as this particular fight can go. And we're almost in the same spot here, but I am just going to throw this special 1 on a step back right there, get our immunities back up, bait this heavy, and we'll be back on top of things. Definitely could have done some more light intercepts here, but as I mentioned in the last video, Weapon X has been a little bit tricky lately, and so I didn't really want to play with him, and it caught up to us a little bit on this one. So, yeah, next time I will hold on to my special ones longer to make sure that I have the ability to keep my immunities up, and I will try for a few more light intercepts. Lesson learned. That was expensive to heal. But we move on to Adam here. This is a good placement for Adam because he's going to gain buffs. You're not going to be able to prevent them with a lot of traditional buff control, and that means that you're going to need to knock him down with heavies and specials a lot. And the power efficiency means he's more likely to go into his pod, which is extremely annoying. So we go ahead and keep the debuffs up here, and now we're into Sovereignty. So doing some good damage with that special too. That's really nice. Something goes wrong in this fight. I forget where. I will point out Carl is reducing his ability power rate when blocking while refined. That part is working out nicely. But getting hit there, I'm not entirely sure what I was trying to do when I burned the Indestructible, but yeah, that's going to come back to bite me. I do particularly like that when the special 2 ends here, he gains those 2 buffs, and then boom, we instantly get Mystic Dispersion from it. That is the rhythm in this fight with Carl. That's what you want to do. That was stupid. That's not what you want to do. This would have been... God, I cannot believe I did that. But like, this fight was going really, really well. If I had just waited and thrown the special 2 again, I would have been fine and I'd be in really good shape here. Instead, what I did was I went for the refine. I was going for a medium, light, medium, and I hit into him while he was in his pod, and so he stunned me. Stupid. Shouldn't have done that. But good news is Carl is strong, and we're getting back on this. Yeah, this fight actually looks pretty good right now. I forgot that I recovered quite that hard. You expect a certain number of falters on this fight. Yeah, this... You really have to be comfortable stepping back into specials for this particular fight, I think. It's a good one, but that's the issue. And now Adam stops throwing specials. This is what the problem was. I think... Yeah, I think right here I was literally just assuming I'm going to survive this special 3. I don't have another fight with Carl. I want this to be over. He's being annoying. Good news is, I was correct. Yeah. So that was a fair amount of damage, but I still have a good amount left. We're going to throw this, and I think this ends the fight. Yep, there it is. So Adam is dangerous there, but you saw me get into a rhythm before I lost it. There is a way to close that fight out extremely cleanly. And we were actually gaining so many morph charges that I think if I had stuck to my rhythm, I would have healed automatically at some point from getting to 600, and that would have been plenty. I just needed to stick to that. So, very dumb. The other dumb thing that I did in the Adam fight was that I didn't take note of how many pre-fights I had left with Reed after Mojo. I just kind of assumed I had 6 or more. I did not. Shouldn't have used the debuff siphoner there. Didn't do anything for Adam. But that just means that you get to see that Reed doesn't need all 3 pre-fights for Mangog, apparently. This is Enzo's rank 2 7-star Mangog. It is extremely large. First time in a while I've had to punch up on this fight. But we are doing everything in our power for AI manipulation, staying very open, blocking the special 1, only dexing out of it where we can do so safely without proccing the debuff, managing our special 2s. Note that we do have power backs going here, and so that's going to get us to a bar here. That's very important because notice he's at 9. We want to throw the special 1 while he's at 9 so that we can keep the stagger up so that we get rid of the unstoppable and the unblockable. We can get rid of it with a special as long as we still have a bar if the stagger had expired, but I prefer to just stagger it and not deal with it at all, and that is what we were able to do here. Then we just go ahead, wait it out. He goes back to 2, and basically once you're through the first Berserk mode for Mangog, when you're using Reed for this fight, you're good to go. He can technically go into another one, but at this point, you've got his power mostly locked down. Obviously, it's still moving, but it's so much less power that it just feels pretty leisurely. You're fully ramped on your damage. You have the Careful Study passive from at least one of the specials, so you're just gaining a ton of power, fueling your Giant Furies from the special 3. There's no fear at all in me as soon as he goes back from 10 to 0. And that is what you're seeing here. Closing it out with a special 3. Really happy that I think my first time facing a rank 2 here. This is about as clean as it's ever gone, even missing a pre-fight, and therefore missing out on some damage. So Reed continues to be very, very good. Good case study on that fight. And that's my war. We did win this one. I've talked about it. We're still shaking off some rust. We were lucky that Forloki had a bit more rust than us this war, but always fun to face them. A lot of respect for the people in that alliance. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was nice to bring back Reed, although I hope I don't have to take that mojo with him again this season. I could definitely do without that. And using Blade is always fun. I'm really glad I took him to rank 5. He's not dominant the way he was, but I think that that's kind of shifted people's opinions on him back into niche, when he's really just a very, very good skill champion. And it's fun showing that off again. Although this war was more of his niche, I'll admit that. But yeah, I'm having a good season. Hope y'all are enjoying the vids. Until next time, thanks so much for watching, and take care.